Back everyone, this is Derek with CoreX Training, and today I'm really excited to make a video about my initial thoughts on the new JP5 rifle, or at least new to me. So if you've ever watched a video on this channel, you know I'm a big fan of the delayed roller blowback guns made by HK and their clones. This is my gun I've used in USPSA for a decade now. This gun has well over 200,000 rounds through it, and I just absolutely love it. It's gotten me where I am today. The delayed roller blowback system is the best system for submachine guns as far as recoil mitigation, staying on target, all that good stuff. So there's a lot of good things to say about the MP5, but there's also some negative things. Mainly the ergos, especially for an American shooter who's used to shooting AR platform guns. So on the MP5, the safeties can be kind of awkward. The magwell is sort of non-existent, and reloading is a real pain. And the charging handle, the mag release, all this stuff. The stock trigger is pretty bad. So you can work through it. You can obviously train around it. I've achieved quite a bit of success with this gun, but in the back of my head, I always thought, man, it'd be really nice if someone put this system into an AR. Over the past couple of years, there have been a lot of, I'll say, innovation in the gun industry, essentially trying to make blowback guns not blowback. So, the AR-9 as designed originally, I don't know if it was designed by Colt, but let's just say as designed by Colt, was a straight blowback gun. So you had a big heavy bolt moving back and forth, and that makes it recoil more than you think. It also means there's nothing really keeping the bolt shut. There's no locking mechanism, there's no delay. So over the past couple years, a handful of companies have tried to fix that issue. CMMG made a radial delay. Angstadt made a roller delay thing. Some other companies have made aftermarket accessories like buffers to try to imitate the delay system. And they all work to various degrees, but I think we finally found the system that just works. And so that is the JP Enterprises JP5 here. This is a pretty new gun to me. I just got it less than a week ago after waiting for about 4 months. I placed my order in February and I received it in June. Took it out. So far, so good. So this is the Steel Challenge model. I would recommend getting that one. It comes with this handguard. I think it's the best handguard. And it actually has like a feeling of like skateboard tape on the handguard, which is kind of cool. There's absolutely no way your hand's gonna slip off that. It's moderately aggressive, at least as far as handguards go. This is the 14.5-inch pin and weld for length. So this muzzle brake, it's kind of obnoxious, but it's really just to get the overall length to 16 inches. There are a lot of really cool things to say about the JP5. Number one, you get all the AR ergos, all those things that I dinged as negatives with MP5. You just get them on the JP, and the JP is pretty ambi, so it's got an ambi safety. It has ambi mag release. On this side, it's just a bolt release. It's not a bolt catch, but it does have an ambi bolt release, so that's kind of cool. The trigger that it comes with, at least in the Steel Challenge model, is very good. I thought I was gonna have to replace it, but I'm absolutely not going to replace it. The only thing I changed is the grip, because I don't really like the big oversized rubber grips. And then it came with the MFT stock, which is my favorite stock, so I'm glad. And then it also came with a Radian. This is actually an MPX charging handle. It's not a regular AR charging handle, but since it's an MPX charging handle, you could actually find aftermarket ones if you, for some reason, didn't like the Radian. So I've got 500 rounds in 2 days on the gun. That should probably sort of sum up my first thoughts, but I just wanted to walk through it a little bit and talk about my experience so far. So all of the Glock mags that I have worked fine. I didn't have any magazine issues. It was just sort of a standard Glock 17 mag, all the way up to a Taylor Freelance extension and one of the MBX extensions. These would be the magazines I actually use in PCC in USPSA or 2-gun or whatever. They ran just fine. No problems with the mags. As far as ammo goes, I did want to try a bunch of different kinds of bullet profiles because I know some PCCs, like the MP5, are kind of notorious for not liking certain bullet shapes. So all of the round noses that I tried, 124 and 147, worked just fine. Any standard round nose profile ran fine. I also tried these extremes. These are 147 extreme hollow points, competition style hollow points. They also ran just fine. So if you have a bunch of those and you want to load them up, it should work. And I also wanted to try 2 of the Syntec loadings because they say USPSA on the box, and so I figure there's a decent chance that someone's going to try to use them. So the federal loading that actually is meant for PCCs is a 130 grain loading, and this ran just fine. So it does have kind of a flat nose to it, but I was able to run 100 rounds of this stuff with 0 failure. So the 130 grain PCC Syntec works, but the 150 grain, this does not. This is a no-go in the JP5. So I think the bullet shape is just different enough, and that nose is very flat. I got through 1 box. I originally intended to shoot 100 rounds of it. I got through 50, and I had 8 failures to feed. So when that bullet is coming up on that feed ramp, it's getting caught on something, and it's actually like tearing huge chunks out of the coating. You pull a round out of when it happens, you can see exposed lead. So it's really marring up that coating. So I wasn't planning to use this in that gun, but if you are planning to use the 150 grain Federal Syntec in a JP5, I don't think it's gonna work for you. So what makes the JP5 special, in case you don't really know what it is? Take it apart real quick here, and this is sort of where the magic happens, and we can compare that with an MP5. So this is an MP5 bolt carrier, and this is the JP5. So you can see they're very, very similar. They are not identical, but they are very similar in dimension and of course in purpose. You have rollers, you have an extractor spring. This is actually a newer style MP5 bolt that uses an AR extractor and extractor spring. This is way better. Actually, if anyone has an MP5, I highly recommend looking at MAD bolts, because I've got like 30 or 40,000 rounds on this thing, and the extractor spring is still going on this specific extractor, whereas these springs tend to wear out after like 5,000, 10,000 rounds, and they're kind of a pain in the butt to change, but oh well. So JP, if you're listening, I don't know if there's any way for you to incorporate this. It's probably patented, but it is a good idea and it works very well. Other than that, though, you can see the bolt heads, again, very similar in design and function. And then they use the same locking piece system. As a matter of fact, the locking pieces are exactly the same. So I've tried 4 different HK locking pieces in here, as well as the JP locking piece that it came with, and it all worked just fine. You might ask, well, why did you change it? Well, I was trying to see if I could tune the recoil impulse on the JP5 to be even smoother than it was out of the box, and it was incredibly smooth out of the box. And it turns out the guys and gals at JP know what the heck they're doing, because of all the combinations that I tried, the one that came with it in the box was the best. So if you order one of these things and you're shooting 147 grain subs or any sort of low power factor competition load, you're gonna have amazing performance right out of the box, which was really, really cool to see. I'll put that back together later. So that's just kind of my initial thoughts. The only other thing to mention would be sort of the price. The JP5s are not inexpensive guns, but in the world of USPSA sort of high-end competition stuff, it's actually not that bad. So that gun was something like $3,200. So I could buy two of them and still come out a little less than an open gun, right? If you buy an Atlas are expensive, Infinity's very expensive. All of these sort of upper tier open guns are going to run you in excess of $6,000 pretty easily. Plus, then you have to buy 2011 magazines, which are much more expensive than Glock magazines, even when you account for the cost of the extensions. So I bought this one for now. I will probably buy a second one, actually, just to have a backup to take to majors and stuff. But yeah, I could not be more impressed. I think JP really hit it out of the park, and I'm making the switch. I think my next USPSA match, sometime in July, it's going to be with the JP5, and that's after shooting MP5s for a decade and achieving pretty good success with that platform. I'm making the switch because I think the JP is just a better gun for that application. So thanks for listening. Probably be more JP5 content in the future. I don't really think you have to tweak it much. I think it's pretty good to go out of the box, but I may find a little thing here or there to change. So, yep. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.